This is my 2013 Acura ILX. I'm going to be changing the transmission on it. Now, safety first, so the first thing I will do is disconnect the 12-volt battery and remove the main fuse. Then I will flip the switch on the 140-volt battery pack to isolate the circuit from the engine. This is how I did it. To cut the high voltage current flowing through the orange cables, first I'm going to remove the negative battery cable from right here. Then I'm going to open this fuse box and remove the main fuse right here by unscrewing that screw right there. Now I need to get into my back seat to remove the panel and deactivate the main battery switch. I gotta remove the back seat, starting with the bottom cushion. Then I'm gonna have to remove that part right there. Now the bottom cushion has two latches on the bottom on each end, one right here and the other one there right underneath. You just reach in and pull. These are the latches that you need to pull. Reach under it, pull, and then pull the seat cushion up at the same time. Then you just pull it from the front and the back just slides out. Next, you have to remove these bolts to get this back part off. I don't know if you can see it, it's down here. It's two bolts right there. One right there and the other one on the other side. After I remove those two screws on the bottom, just that one and the one on the other end, I just lifted up the seat, which was hooked with these two hooks and these things right here. Just come in. So you just pull the seat up and over and it comes out. And there is your on and off high voltage switch. Alright, I removed the two 10mm bolts right here, the plate, and there's my switch. I gotta turn it off. Power's cut. To make room to get at the transmission, I have to remove the air intake box and the battery. First, I'm gonna get the battery out of the way by removing this bracket right here. It's got two bolts. Then unplugging my other battery terminal, get the battery out. I did not need to remove this whole thing, like the nut all the way out. Just loosen it so you can turn these hooks. This one, just loosen it, it'll come right off. Next, I'm gonna remove the air filter top. I'm gonna release the cable here, these two clamps, and loosen this one up so I can get this whole part out. Now to remove the bottom part of the intake, it's got three bolts. It's got one right there, and it's got a tough one. It's gonna be down here. That's gonna be hard. Okay, and this line right here is gonna come under, goes under here, and it's gonna come loose from right there. Just gonna pull it down. I covered my throttle plate right there so I won't drop anything in there. Well, that back bolt, the one that goes back there, gave me quite a trouble. But here it is. I tore up my glove because I had to squeeze my hand right here. I was able to get it with my little wrench, this one, but it's out. Okay, before you can take this box, the lower intake out, you gotta release this wiring harness right here. This box. You got a latch. This one's the hardest one to take out. This one. You gotta go under it. It's got a latch on the bottom. Right here. Oh man, let's see. And then pull on the latch, and then it slides out. This one, the latch is right here. Pull the latch, and it slides right up. Okay, now I have a better view of my transmission. So next I'm going to unplug these cables right here, and there's another one back here. And release my gear selector cable. I'm gonna remove these two, remove the bracket with the cable. And there's a pin holding the tip right here, right there. We gotta unbend that one, get the pin out, and just pop it over the top, the tip of it up. Then I'm gonna have to move on to my starter, that one. Alright, I cleaned that out. All the cables, I stuck them up here so they're out of the way, and nothing else is in the way right here. Now I'm not gonna remove these orange cables, but I will have to move them around, so I'm gonna have to loosen them up from right here, like this, just so I can get enough space to move around. Now the starter, it's easy to take out. It's got two bolts, one right there and the other one back down here. Gotta get this wire out, this boot out. This one, you just pull it out, pull it up, and there's a bolt right there. I mean a nut. So we gotta take this one and that one out. Take out the starter. All right, the starter is out. Next, I loosened this one. I just took it out of its plug right here to get out of the way. And now I can take these electrical plugs off. It's 3 of them. Right here. Right there. There. And right here. Those are the 3. If I can set this light. Let's see, let's put it up here. And after that, I got my 2 oil lines, but I can't not take those until I get the oil out. That's this one and that one. So let's take those. Let me take those electrical plugs out, and then I'm gonna raise the car. All right, ran into an issue with my 3rd plug. This one, it seems like cannot take it off. I gotta take it to take it off. I gotta remove it. Remove the bolt back here. It's a 10mm. And it's gonna, once I remove it, this whole thing's gonna come. This whole cable's gonna come out. So let me make it the thing out. All right, I released all the electrical lines, my electrical plugs that I was doing. All that's left on top is the more transmission mount right here, my flywheel bolts, and my transmission line oil lines. But first I gotta drain the oil, so I'm gonna race the vehicle now, secure it, start working on the bottom. All right, I raced the car and I secured it. There, right there. Now in order to get a better view, I have to get this plastic out of the way. It's good. Let's see. Got that one. Another one on the other side. And a bunch of little tabs that I'm going to take off. Right there, right there. there, and I believe some on the side up there, that one and this one. It curves, this piece curves. See, it comes down. So this whole plastic piece is just pop-out tabs and 2 screws right there. All right, then I'm gonna drain the oil, transmission fluid. Let's see if this thing will pick it up. Right there. Alrighty. Alright, now I took the tire off. I gotta take this one out, because I'm gonna loosen up the strut here. And then I'm gonna take this one off. And this one. Same thing on the other side. This is the other side. Here. Right here. And right there. Now I'm on the passenger side under the car. In order to get this transmission out, I'm gonna have to release and remove this engine cradle, this piece subframe. It's a big piece and it's heavy. I'm gonna have to find a way to hold it while I'm taking off the bolts so I can get it out. It's got 4 main bolts here, here, and 2 more on that side, there and there. And this whole piece should come out with this lower A-arms. I also have to remove this bolt right here and another one on the driver's side. The rack and pinion should come out with the whole piece. And all I have to worry about is these electrical wires. I have to take them off. And the piece that connects to the steering column right here, that's gonna be tough. Okay, it's up here. I'm probably gonna have to go inside to go and release that one. So let me start looking. Oh, and the motor mount, the transmission mount right here. Gotta release that one. Gonna let this one loose from right here. I'm gonna take these 2 out, and the whole piece should come out. Now to release the steering column from the rack and pinion, I'm gonna come down here. Right here, my steering column. I gotta remove this plastic. Okay, it's already marked right there. I'm gonna mark it again, make sure that I put it in the same spot, and I gotta take out that bolt right there. All right, I also took this after you unslide the steering column out. You got this piece of plastic right here. It's already, I marked it. This one just slides out. Now it's ready to come out. Now I'm taking the electrical wiring off the rack and pinion, but in order to make some more room, see, I gotta loosen this one. This one you just press right here, and it slides out, but there's not enough space here. So I'm gonna loosen up these bolts. There's one right here. Right there. Now this will let loose this bracket, so I'll have more space to take those electrical wires off. First I'm going to take this one, and there's 2 more right here, and the other one. And then all this bracket with this wiring will come out with the rack and pinion. Alright, I'm getting ready to start loosening the cradle, engine cradle. But before I do that, I gotta take this traction bars out. So I gotta release these 3 bolts, get the A-arm out of the way, so I can pull the shaft out from both sides. Then I'm gonna take off these bolts for the lower engine mount right there, these 2. Alrighty, engine cradles out with the rack and steering, rack and pinion. Came out really easy after you remove those 4 bolts from the end and the ones on top on the sides. Now I'm gonna take all the bolts that hold the transmission to the motor. So I believe it's 6. It's this one. These are the 2 easy ones. There's another one right up here. I'm gonna have to remove this head shield. And let's see. There's another one. Oh, it's on this side. This is gonna be maybe the toughest one because it's hidden. It's right. Oh boy. Right there. I can barely see it. Well, this one too, but it's right on top of that one. Kind of hard to see. I think it's better if I see it from over here. Up there. And there's 2, the one on top. I'll show it to you right now. Right from the top, we got this one right there, and this one right there. But the one that's gonna give me the hardest time, it's gonna be this one, the one that is kind of hard to show. I'm on the driver's side now. I noticed that if I remove this inner fender plastic piece right here, I can get more space when I get the transmission out. So it's got a bunch of little plastic tags. They're easy to take off. Right here, right there, there, and up here. I just noticed that I did not release this little gizmo right here. It's from the oil line. So I released the oil line, but this one, this bracket, it's still attached, so just take this one. It's a 10 millimeter. Alright, before I take out my last transmission bolt, I'm gonna brace my motor with my jack right here. I'm on the last one, right there. Now I'm getting ready to take out the bolts on the flywheel. That's that bolt right there. I'm going to be taking them out through where the starter was at. Now I'm going to take each one, and to turn it, because I'm going to have to turn it, I'm going to use this on the crank right there. Okay, I'm going to show you how it's going to turn. Alright, my assistant is going to turn it. Okay, go ahead, turn it. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. A little more. Right there. That's the bolt. And each time I take one, I keep turning it and just keep going around it. Alright, after removing the bolt from the flywheel, I believe there were 5. Now I'm gonna remove the oil lines. Let's see, that's that one. Here, lúzame. That's this one. And the other one is right there. Right there. Alrighty, I have removed the motor mounts, put my engine jack right here, put a strap around it. Then I released my motor mounts, took them out, this one and this one. Those were the only 2 left. So now I'm getting ready to remove the last bolt on the transmission. It's right here, right there. And I got my floor jack ready to receive the transmission. This is the transmission that I'm gonna put in. It's got about 130,000 miles, but it's supposed to be good. So I'm just remove the oil seals there. I'm gonna replace them. There's one. That's for the passenger side. This is for the driver's side. That's my flywheel. It just slid off the transmission and then you just slide it back into this one. You just gotta be careful to not damage this seal right here. It's like a little O-ring. Put some grease on that. Slide it in there. Alright, I have my transmission ready to go in. I strapped it down to the floor jack. And the flywheel's installed. Just gonna slide it in here. Once I'm here, I'm gonna brace it up and bring it up to those guides. I got one guide right here and the other one right here. My motor, it's still tilted this way, so I have enough space to clear that body right there when I bring it up, when I jack the transmission up. Alrighty. There it is. It wasn't that hard. Tightened the 6 bolts to about 40 foot-pounds. And there it is. 6 bolts. Now I'm gonna jack up the motor transmission to put up the motor mounts. I gotta jack it up so to bring it up. Motor mounts ready, mounted, bolted in tight. Okay, there you go. Next, I'm gonna do the flywheel bolts to go right there. So my assistant is going to turn it to get to the hole, then I'll put the bolt in and twist it again, put another bolt in. There are 5 bolts. No, correction, that it's 6 bolts. Alright, I got the flywheel bolts tightened now, and now I'm gonna put the starter and the 2 oil lines down there. That's gonna be my next step. Now I'm gonna, after the flywheel, I'm gonna put the subframe, the engine cradle back in. I got it ready to go on my jack. This one's easy. Just slide it in, lift it up, bolt it in. Make sure the rack and pinion fits into the hole for the steering column. Doesn't get caught in anything. Okay, I plugged in all my cables here, under here, bolted on my gear selector cable. Hooked up the oil lines, starters in there. Okay, this cable too, right there. It's all plugged in. It's 2 bolts to hold the harness. Alrighty. I was putting the bottom part of the air intake. That back bolt, the one that goes down here, was giving me a lot of trouble. So I ended up loosening this one, taking off that bolt under here, and I'm clipping it from right there, just loosening it up so I could get my hand in here, through here, and I could screw that bolt in there. It gave me a lot of problems. There it is. It's in there. Alrighty, I put the battery back in there. Put the battery, plugged it in. Now I'm gonna put the fuse back in there, main fuse, and then I'm gonna throw the switch on that's the last thing, throw the switch, and then we'll be ready to go. Alright, I'm ready to throw the switch. To throw the switch, you gotta press this red button right here, and at the same time, throw the switch. Otherwise, you cannot throw the switch. Put your plate back in there, and then put the bolts, and put the backrest in the seat, and we're done.